Hi you guys, it's summer. First, let's address that yes, I know I wear this sweatshirt a lot, but it's my current favorite sweatshirt. It's just so comfy, and so you're gonna see me wear it a lot, and that's gotta be okay. Sometimes I even wear things 2 days in a row. That's just, the real life of me. I don't know why I felt the need to make this video because I'm sure half of you guys don't care. But, there's been such a huge life shift happen with me with the homeschooling that I kind of just wanted to talk about it. I was talking with Laura of the Hollywood Housewife last night. She's like, so why did you want to homeschool? Like, that's kind of a big change. Thinking, I'd like to address this, why I am homeschooling. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? So for me, I never obviously wanted to homeschool. I've talked about that a lot on my blog and in my videos. I mean, I kind of lived for the school year, and I lived for that time that I got to have to myself. I'm one of those people that really needs that time to myself to feel sane and happy. But this year, when, Taylor went into second grade, there was just something that wasn't at peace within me. Like, I just didn't feel settled about sending him to school. But I knew that I could never homeschool full time, like 5 days, and take on all the subjects, and it just seemed impossible. But I started talking to some friends. A lot of my friends homeschool, and everybody kind of does it their own way. So I started talking to people and finding out that it didn't have to just be one way, that I could kind of make it work according to what worked for me and what worked for my kids. And so that kind of appealed to me, but not enough to do it. And so I was like, I'm going to sign Taylor up for a school that has a really long waiting list, like a charter school. And I'll have a year to think about it, and I'll pray about it. And if God allows us into that school, then we'll do it. Well, it just so happens the day I signed him up was the day we got into the school. They were like, you know what? We have an opening for second grade. Bring him in. Start him tomorrow. And I was thinking, God, you never, ever answer my prayers that fast when it's something I really want. But when it's something that I'm not sure, I don't know, suddenly you answer it like an hour after my prayer. So I called my husband, I called Jimmy, and I was like, what should we do? And he was like, well, that's what we prayed, so we're going to start him. So I, being the person who just kind of does things impulsively sometimes, I pulled him out of school that day, and I started homeschooling him on Monday, the following Monday. And I wouldn't suggest that unless God's really just telling you to do it. He opens up a waiting list that usually is a year long, then maybe you should. I don't know. And it's been 6 months, and let me just tell you, these have been some of the most trying 6 months of my life. There's been little periods, like milestone times of my life, when my dad died, when I first got married, when I first had my baby, when we had our foster son. Those moments of my life were very defining for me because they really chiseled away what I thought I was into something else. This is what homeschooling has done for me. I thought there were so many reasons I wanted to do it. Spiritually, I wanted to do it to just have more time to invest into my kids, I didn't want him to be in a public school 5 days a week, 6 to 7 hours a day, and then come home and have homework, and then, the activities he wanted to be involved in. It just took up so much of our life, and I didn't want that. And so I felt like homeschooling was a great option for me to invest more into his spiritual life, into working on his character, into allowing him to work at the level and the pace that he needed to work at. We can get done with school in like 3 to 4 hours. So he would have free time, and he could do the activities he wanted to do. And, there's just so many pros to it. What I didn't realize in all of these lists of why I wanted to do it was that God would hold a big, humongous mirror up to me and be like, It would just like come out, and I would start to see things in me that I didn't even know was in there. And that's kind of what being a mom does. It kind of, being a parent, what kids do to you is they show you like the real person comes out, you know? And so homeschooling has amplified that for me. And so it has been hard. Like, I've cried a lot of tears. I have said I was going to quit more days than I said that I haven't wanted to quit. Ultimately, you know, when I talk to my friends who aren't their kids in school, they're like, then why are you doing it? If it's making you so miserable, why are you doing it? And I think the best response I can give is because God told me to. You know, God, I know without a shadow of a doubt that God has asked me to do this. I don't know for how long. I don't know in what capacity, or, you know, it might evolve and change throughout the years. But I know that this is what He's asked me to do. And even though it's hard, I have to be obedient. I mean, God calls us to things that aren't going to be easy and that are going to be challenging, so that we have to kind of rely on Him. And so that's where I'm at. I mean, marriage is hard. You don't stop being married because it's hard, you know. You have to stay married and work on your marriage. It's the same thing with this homeschooling thing for me, is I know that God has asked me to do this. And so even though I might complain a lot and I might cry some days and I might want to quit, for me, I just don't feel like it's an option. These things that are coming out in me are things I need to work on, things that God is obviously showing me, you can't let this stay in there. You have to work on this. And, you know, the things that drive me crazy about Taylor are things that I probably could have pushed to the side for a long time and never worked on it. But now I get to. Like, now I get to address those character issues, those obedience issues. I get to. I make it sound like it's so fun. Guys, it's not always, it's never fun to work on obedience. Now, all of that said, I just want to explain that because I chose to homeschool, or I'm choosing to homeschool, and that I believe God called me to this, I don't think that everyone needs to be pulling their children out of public school and homeschooling them. I think it needs to be something that God places on your heart and asks you to do, and you need to be sure of it, because otherwise, you know, there's a place for kids in public school, and who knows, my kids might be back in public school one day. I don't know. When my friends are like, well, do you think I need to homeschool? I'm always like, no. I am the furthest thing from judging you and having your kids in school. I do not think that is not my decision. You pray about that, you know? I guess that's just kind of my little thing about homeschooling and what I've learned in 6 months. I am so not a pro. I so don't know what I'm doing. I can't even begin to talk about curriculum or scheduling or any of those things. All I know is what I was called to, and that I'm being obedient, and that it's hard, and I need you guys to pray for me and for Taylor. And that maybe, you know, cussing wouldn't become a part of my life. Not saying for sure that it did or ever has, or that it hasn't. I'm just saying I don't want to cuss, you know. I want to be a good mom in this situation. The other thing I would say too, my other little piece of advice, is that if you are going to homeschool, you need to talk to people who homeschool. This is what kind of my homeschooling mentor, she doesn't know that's what she is, but I've decided that's what she is, said to me was, if you're going to talk about it, you need to talk to people who are in it with you and who have walked the road. Get a mentor, get somebody who can encourage you and help you, and, you know, it's going to make it that much easier. And it has for me. I mean, I couldn't live without my little homeschooling support group God has formed for me. So anyway, that is my homeschooling journey so far. You know what? I haven't taken up drinking wine yet, so it's got to say something for the power of God, right? Anyway, if you guys are homeschoolers, I would love to hear your advice, your stories, your struggles, whatever it is. If you grew up homeschooled, if you're being homeschooled, and you're a teenager, you know, all of you, I invite you to like kind of come together in the comments below maybe and just like let's talk about it because you know, that's always good. And if you're thinking about it, or even if you don't homeschool and you're like, I love public school and this is why, well, we want to hear from you too. We, meaning me and whoever else comments, or just me. Thanks for letting me this was good therapy for me. I feel good. I feel good now. I feel like I can get through the next week or day. I'm going to go with the day. All right, you guys. I'll see you later. Bye.